All right, we're back tonight with a 5,126 strength of field for the strength of field debut of the Indy NXT Series on the ovals here at the Iowa Speedway. We're going to have a lot of familiar names from the world of IndyCar, especially in the oval scene for that car here tonight. We're riding out there with Robert Malechka III, King Robert, out here gracing us with his presence as he sets down his qualifying laps. We've got ourselves Alexander Vanasen up to the pole, 18,986. We'll see if he'll stay up there. Now, the important thing to keep in mind here is we do not have weight jacker in these cars like the IndyCar does. There's no, I have the right rear spring. They're not allowed in Indy NXT. It's in the rule book explicitly. Weight jackers are not permitted, I believe, is exactly how it's worded in the rule book. Somebody asked if they had them, and somebody busted out the rule book on us, so we know that for certain. We did determine via the forums, Nick Neben, bless his soul, voice that this series currently has unlimited tires at the moment, which does kind of throw tire strategy out of the window to some extent. However, as we saw in our bonus coverage yesterday due to a slot kerfuffle with the Indy Open Series, didn't seem like tires were going to be super helpful if the race goes yellow quite frequently, especially at the end of the race. It's really going to depend on if you get a decent green flag run at the end to kind of get the tires up to temp and moving to see if they'll actually make any sort of difference. Although long run, medium run length, you seem to have the tires better than freshies. So we'll just have to see how that plays out in this race here tonight. Glad to see Kyle in the chat. Yes, I'm excited. First ever Strike the Field broadcast for Indy NXT on ovals. I think that this series is going to be pretty interesting. We'll have to see. I know a lot of people are skeptical, myself included, on some of the tracks we've got lined up for this season, and we'll probably cover that in a little bit of detail at some point here. But Iowa's a great start. We got to catch some of this during week 13 to try it out. Obviously, we saw it last night in the first race, our first official race on iRacing in the Indy NXT Oval Series. As we watched a lot of future potential IndyCar stars hone their craft. Minute left to go here in qualifying. People are taking their sweet, sweet time getting to set times. We still got a number of cars that have yet to set times or might have experienced the cold tire bug that we've seen people catching or getting caught out by here in this car. Very, very sketchy on cold tires, especially on your out lap and your warm up your second, or I guess your first time lap, right? Per Ryan Campbell, this is probably the most skill ever in an Indy NXT field. Well, come on now. They got a decent pool of talent. They probably don't have the quantity of it, but they got to figure it out somewhere, right? It's a series for learning. We'd like learning. All right, we'll get the grid up here shortly. Run you through the who's where. Ooh, I want that. I want that. I want this. And I want that. All right. Get people gridding up here. We'll get on Mark Murphy. Give him his due here and his Larson livery. All right, we already got ourselves a Larson livery, and it's the first race out here in the Indy NXT Oval Series. On the pole, Philip Kraus with an 18.97 on his outside. Alexander Van de Sant with an 18.986. Nick Sudik will start from third. Robert Malechka fourth. Crash Neon will be fifth alongside Mark Murphy, who we've got right here. Then we've got Ryan Campbell in seventh. Ty Keela in eighth. Mark Moyhanneman in ninth. Kyle Clenworth 10th. Jason Brophy 11th. Caden Rush in 12th. Seb Alexander and his plain white wrapper, the IAR machine, out here making an appearance alongside Matt Hollabaugh in 14th. Andre Castro 15th. Dylan Wylozinski, who I believe we saw yesterday, out here again. AJ Pritchett 17th. Chris Wetz 18th. Ellis Spice will line up 19th, hopefully. And Jeremy MD McGorry will round out your 20-car field here tonight. Hopefully his race goes a bit better than the one he had yesterday. I believe he was involved in one of the crashes we saw throughout our bonus coverage yesterday. Hop back up to Phil here. Get a more suitable camera here. We'll try this guy. How about that guy? We'll come up with something. We'll start here. Two pace laps here at Iowa. Any track, I believe, that's shorter than a mile gets 2 pace laps. So we'll have a little bit of a breather here to kind of get a feel for what people are thinking, if they're going to do any sort of wiggling or what have you. Big precaution here early in the run will be those cold tires, especially deeper in the field. You know, some cars may have not have experienced a ton of traffic running prior to making it to this race. You know, we had opportunities to practice, get some practice races in here during week 13 alongside some of the races prior to this split here. But a number of guys, I'm sure, are coming out here and experiencing it raw for the first time, and that'll be the first time they experience some traffic here in these IL-15s on oval. So we're going to jump a couple cars back here with Rob in the second row, since that might get us a better look back down the field as we get ready to go green this time by. "65 laps here tonight, 10 short of a full distance Indy NXT race here at Iowa, I believe. Could be corrected there. I believe it's a 75 lapper here at Iowa. Pace car is off. Control of Phil Kraus. Kraus launches. We're green here. Indy NXT at Iowa. A lot of 2x2, even 3x3 going into the field. Kind of jump a couple cars back. Rob's back to 6th. We've got a big pile of cars from 5th on back here. Starting to get single file here, but I imagine as the tires warm up, people have a bit more confidence to kind of run different lines, gauge where they're going to be able to make passing opportunities muster. We see Rob running that higher lane, trying to get the corner exit speed here. We'll actually hop on board here with Rob. He's following Ryan Campbell through the field here. Now, by this stage of the race, you'll see that a lot of guys are going to start, you know, peeking around, trying to get an idea of where they can put their car. There is still dirty air in play in this car, although it doesn't seem to be quite as dramatic as its IndyCar counterpart in this car. Get a couple more with Rob here as he sits just outside the top 5 and 7th. Looks like we've already got lap traffic. I'm imagining that. Actually, no. I got it all twisted. Who's this car? Who's this blue car? Is that Crash Neon? I think that's Crash Neon. Let's see here. Identify yourself. No. That's Sudik. Nicholas Sudik's in a light blue car. Bill Stein. Looks like it's a iRacing default special. Get the chopper cam out here. Sudik's machine up to second. Back on a TV cam here. Let's see if we can find a solid battle here on the speedway. It looks like we've got Brian Campbell in 4th, with Van de Sant and Malechka hot in tow behind him for 4th through 6th. Mark Murphy running 7th. Caden Rush in 8th. Now, over the course of the run, these guys are probably adjusting those in-car roll bars, as we kind of discussed yesterday throughout the broadcast coverage. On the ovals, it seems to be a bit more dramatic how much those roll bars come into play. You see a lot of guys try to have their car very, very stiff on starts and restarts to handle kind of the tires being not quite as ready to grip up. And you'll see them progressively kind of dial in more and more looseness as the tires start to lose that grip. And we make our way throughout the run and throughout this race. Because these tires are designed to run a full distance with no issue. Shouldn't be any sort of fuel stops here. The only reason you'll likely take tires is if you think you could do it on strategy, and well, as we have the option right now, we could see that come into play should we get a later yellow at some point in this race. So Phil Kraus leads 4/10 over Nick Sudik. Crash Neon's right on Sudik in 3rd. We've got about a second back to Ryan Campbell in 4th, with Malechka and Rush hot in tow. Van de Sant's down to 7th. Mark Murphy's 8th. Castro 9th. Hollabaugh 10th. Jason Brophy runs 11th, with Wylozinski in 12th. Ty Keela in 13th. And Mark Mohaneman, mostly known for driving the 87 NASCAR cars, has made an appearance here in the Indy NXT Series. We'll give him his due. Down here in 14th. Saddle Alexander, Plain White Rapper 15th. Kyle Clenworth 16th. Chris Wetz 17th. AJ Pritchett 18th. Ellis Spice 19th. And McGorry is still out on track, lining up the back of the field in 20th. So let's see if we can get, this is quite the battle here. We've got about 4 rows of 2 from Caden Rush and Van de Sant on back. They get it back single file on the top side, but we're gonna stay on this. This is gonna turn into something, I think. Guys coming very, very close to the wall, shuffling off. Three wide. Rush in the middle. Van de Sant on the outside. Andre Castro, move him. Oh, we got ourselves a spinner. Spinner in the back.
Caution, yellow flag.
Or Hanneman's involved. Alexander's involved. Looks like we've got maybe one more car there. I believe that was Dylan. Wylozinski? Have to see if we can go back and watch that. Oh. See if we can get on board with Seb Alexander here. Okay, so is this after the... Interesting. Can we get... Okay, so there's this. So Alexander still circulates. Okay, I think I went too far forward is what happened here. So we'll back this up real quick. Try to see what happened to Seb. Must have happened so fast I can't grab it. That's unfortunate. So I believe that's 3 cars involved in that incident. Very, very quick. Car kind of came off the wall, spun another car, and then it was just everybody up near the high side, nowhere to go. So we'll re-rack them and restack them. Had a number of cars come down pit lane. 6 cars staying out. We've got Sudik, Campbell, Van Desant, Mark Murphy, Ty Keela, Kyle Clenworth. The top 6 all stayed out. Believe everybody else came down the pit lane for tires. This is likely the best opportunity to do it, as you'll have an opportunity for those tires to come in before the end of this race and likely have a little bit better wear. I'm not sure quite how big of a difference it is here. I haven't personally done a race that's had live pit stops in it. Week 13 was cautionless, so if people junked out or whatever, and it was a 40 lapper, so it wasn't super critical to have the freshest tires on the planet. You just kind of needed the track position and to know where to put your car. Keep it up near the front. So it'll leave us with 17 cars on the lead lap. Alaba being the last of our active runners now. If you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to click like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. We're hoping to keep this one going as long as we possibly can with the Indy NXT Series here on P1. So we're about ready to get back under green. Nick Sudik, control car, lined up here on the outside. Pace car pulls off, in control of Sudik. Sudik launches.
Green, green, green.
Good jump by the top 3 cars on this restart. We'll see how long it takes for some more cars to kind of get into this lead battle now. Kraus already passed Clenworth up to 6th. We'll see if we can maybe watch his charge. As we've got Ryan Campbell going for the lead on the inside of Nick Sudik. Fastest lap of the race, 18.887 for Campbell. Throwing a bit of a bit of a defensive line there for Campbell. Sudik back to the bottom. He's going to lead that lap. Now, the big important thing here is that if these cars keep fighting, those cars behind them will start to reel them in, as we see Andre Castro with the fastest lap of the race now. And that's kind of what you don't want as the leaders, is you don't want to be fighting super, super hard, because that's going to allow these cars behind you to start reeling you back in, as we see Van de Sant looking to the outside. He's going to arc down. He wants the inside. Campbell's there, though. We've got ourselves a battle for the lead here. Still side by side for the front. And Kraus is right in this group. That pink and black car you see behind Murphy's HendrickCars.com machine for IAR. Campbell still holding the bottom. Tyquila's up to third now. He's on the bottom, I believe. Oh, Campbell into the wall.
Caution, yellow flag.
Sudik's in it. I believe Van de Sant's in it as well. And this one I can hopefully catch. All right, we're going to back this up very, very slowly. Very slowly. All right, let's see what happens here. So we're coming off a turn. All right, we'll start from turn 3 here. We've got cars coming through turn 3. And I believe that's Tyquila on the bottom. No, it is not. Who is this? Ooh. Oh, it's Crash Neon. Crash Neon gets into the back of Ryan Campbell, sends him up the track into Sudik. Van de Sant nowhere to go. Kraus, I believe, is fortunate enough not to have any damage from the outside of the car. But other than that, I believe we've got another 3-car wreck, unless there were more cars that got caught up in this behind. We've got Malechka in the pit lane, possibly. Or did he suffer an issue earlier? He's still circulating. Potentially. Hop on board with whoever we can find. So it looks like we've got Ryan Campbell, Alexander Van de Sant, Nick Sudik, all with meatball flags that will need to be served. If I can find the cars. There we go. We got an onboard of Phil Kraus here. So Crash Neon's going to inherit the lead here. We'll see if anybody comes down the pit lane here. No takers for the first couple cars here. We'll see if anybody deeper in the field opts to come down. Not looking like it. So we'll hop to the front here with Crash Neon. It's quite a spectacular looking paint scheme he's got on here. Ties in his Lucky Charms machine in P2 there. It's good to see a number of people got some paints for us to look at. You know, we saw a couple yesterday with a lot of people running the Miles Rowe Force Indy car. That's kind of a classic in this series at this point, with his success in the 2025 season at Iowa and Nashville. Good to see him pick up a couple wins this year. So we're just over halfway here in the first Indy NXT Oval Strength of Field top split here on P1. If you're enjoying the coverage, enjoy the coverage. Pace car has the lights off. We'll be going green this time by. We'll see if we can get ourselves a green run to the end here. All right, Crash Neon has control of the field. Pace car will be off momentarily. Pace car is off. Crash Neon, control the field. He's going.
Green, green, green.
Phil Krause already looking to the inside of Mark Murphy. Neon's got a solid jump here. Ty Keela running second. He's looking to the outside on Crash. Crash runs defensive to the low line. Ty Keela up high. Strong battle for third. Ty Keela to the point. Andre Castro get through. I'm wondering if Crash may have sustained some sort of damage in that contact with Campbell earlier on, as we still feel Krause make his way on by on the bottom. Still side by side. Andre Castro looking on Ty Keela. We'll hop up to the front here. Castro to the inside. Ty Keela up high. Krause looking down low. Another dogfight for the front here. Krause to the bottom on Castro. Krause to the point. And how about Jason Brophy? We haven't talked about him at all so far tonight. He's up here in his team hype machine. Power Slide Motorsports, forgive me. Castro back to the bottom. Phil Krause leads. We've got about a train of about 6 or 7 cars here that are all in contention at the front. Back to Kyle Clenworth in 7th as we see Castro on the inside on Krause. Brophy looking low. 3 wide into turn 1. Castro slides up. Krause back to the bottom. Brophy in lead of this race for a time. See if we can hop on board with Ty Keela here. See what he's seeing. Whole lot of cars in front of him packing up this Iowa Speedway. Looking for the clean air in between the cars here. Crash Neon working his way back up. He rolls low. Looking down low here. Still able to afford to get down as low as he possibly can. Shortest way around. Try not to scrub speed on the corner exits. Watch one more here. So these are quick. About 8, little under 19 seconds as we were seeing earlier on in the session on the fast end. Hop back to the point. Brophy over Krause, over Castro. Crash Neon runs 4th. Ty Keela, Mark Murphy, Kyle Clenworth. Matt Hollabaw's into the mix now in 8th. Up to side by side with Kyle Clenworth. Ellis Spice 9th. Chris West 10th. Pritchett in 11th. McGorry in 12th. That's the last of our lead lap runners. We've got Malechka in 13th. Campbell in 14th, who are at least still moving or in the pit lane, one or the other. See the field kind of get back to either a single or double file here later on in the going, but I imagine we're in the game of patience as we've still got another 20 some odd or 15 some odd laps to go. 16, 17. So we see kind of a 4-car breakaway now between Brophy, Castro, Neon, and Krause. See how long this lasts. Castro trying to work that high side. Not quite able to get back alongside Kraus. He does now. Kraus rolling the bottom. Crash Neon on the inside of Castro now. Kraus to the apron. Interesting. Kraus has a meatball flag. Not sure what would have happened there, if maybe he made some side-to-side contact or what. We have noticed over the course of the kind of the opening couple weeks here with the Indy NXT cars that the damage is really sensitive at very odd times, and we'll give a meatball flag for a car that's basically perfectly drivable. So tough break for Kraus as he was in contention to win this race. See Castro to the bottom on Crash Neon behind Brophy here. Cars still out here fighting for glory, all within about a second and 3/4. Now, Brophy's out to a comfortable gap at this stage, especially with Castro and Neon fighting behind. That kind of slows up any of the momentum the cars behind him might have to try to reel him in here. They've got about 10 laps to do it, not even. Castro drives defensive behind. Neon looking. Not there. Got Mark Murphy looking to the outside of Crash Neon now. See what he can do. Good bit of momentum for Murphy. We're getting down to the last couple laps here. If anybody's got anything left, I think you got to go now. Andre Castro, way up high, off the corner, looking for anything he can get on Jason Brophy here for the lead. Tenth of a second gap. He comes up high, gets back into the toe of Jason Brophy. Up high again, looking for anywhere he can get his car alongside to try to pull him back. Castro right on the gearbox. That gap is closing. Crash Neon's within 2/10. He's looking down low. Andre Castro to the bottom. Jason Brophy up high. Too wide for the lead here. Brophy's going to fade to the high side. He's going to try to mount a charge here. Two to go. Castro at the point. We're 2 by 2 for 2 rows deep. Here comes Ty Keela looking on Mark Murphy. White flag in the air. Final lap here at Iowa. Who's going to take the inaugural Indy NXT Oval Series Strength of Field race? 5,126 strength of field. Who's going to take it? Castro. Big wreck behind. Castro's going to take it from Neon and Wets. Kyle Clenworth, P4. Spice 5th. Pritchett, McGorry, Tykela, Hollabaugh, and Brophy and Murph. I don't think they made it to the line. That's unfortunate. That was quite the finish. All right, so results here from the Iowa Speedway. Andre Castro, your winner tonight. Crash Neon, second. Chris Wetz, third. Kyle Clenworth, P4. Ellis Spice, P5. AJ Pritchett, sixth. Jeremy McGorry had a solid run tonight, making up for his run yesterday, P7. Tykela, eighth. Matt Hollabaugh in ninth. Jason Brophy, 10th. Mark Murphy, 11th. Robert Malechka, 5 laps down. We're not entirely sure what happened to him. Kraus, same deal. 13 laps down for Mr. Kraus. He must have had a long meatball to serve in the pit lane. Something must have been pretty broken according to the team. Nick Sudik, 14th. Ryan Campbell, 15th. Alexander Van Sant, 16th. Caden Rush, 17th. Mark Mohaneman, 18th. Seb Alexander and Dylan Wilzelinski in 20th, rounding out our field, involved in trouble early. We'll see if we can get a replay queued up for Mr. Wetz here. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Not sure how good this camera's going to work. Let's see. All right, who do we got? I believe that's Mr. Castro. We'll see if we get anybody else here. Well, I don't think we're going to get anybody else here, so we'll see. We'll give Chris Wetz his due. He gets a podium finisher tonight. And then, who else did we have? Crash Neon finishes second. Give him his due. Out there in his, what is this, Ghost Energy trolley machine with a lot of skulls on it. That's fun. And we'll bring on up Andre Castro. Andre Castro, Jacob Collins, P1 Broadcasting. Got me?
Yeah, I got you. Thanks, Jacob.
Yeah. Well, that was quite the race tonight. A lot of action up near the front, trying to kind of navigate the lanes. What say you? What do you think was your biggest takeaway that last maybe dozen laps or so, trying to work your way to the front?
Yeah, I think after the caution came out and a lot of us took tires, it was just about trying to get our way to the front. And at first it seemed, I think I missed a big wreck and got up to third, and then it seemed like it became kind of almost like a low line race for the lead. Like you couldn't really. It was interesting because it wasn't like we were definitely grip limited, and sometimes we were lifting, but it seemed like the outside line just couldn't really carry too much momentum. So if you wanted to pass someone, especially for the lead, you had to get on the underneath them. And it was I kind of got my nose inside of the 2-car of Jason, and he noticed me there. So props to him for having that awareness. But just when he kind of left the bottom open a little bit, and at first I saw Crash going to try to pass me, and then I thought, let me go try to pass the leader, and and then I think I had it under control there just because I had the bottom, and I was trying to make sure he didn't kind of over under me, and then Crash kind of came up right behind me, and so made it so he couldn't do that. So I was just flat out pretty much or maybe lifting a tiny bit and just going as hard as I could. But I guess they all crashed in the last corner, and that definitely was was kind of the nail in the coffin for them. And yeah, my teammate Chris West got P3, so definitely a good race for both of us. And yeah, it was pretty fun out there. It's just I think everybody's still learning the car, so definitely seems like it's pretty exciting racing. It was a bit annoying to have the bottom line be so dominant at the end, but just had to. We had room to maneuver. It wasn't easy flat on the inside, so you could kind of catch someone sleeping and go for the inside. So that's what we did, and yeah, thank you for the broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely. It was nice to see a good bit of adaptability come into play, where you kind of had to be on top of your A game even at the front. You got any friends, family, sponsors you want to shout out? Podium finish or win, no less. Floor is yours.
I mean, just you, Jacob, and the whole P1 Broadcasting for broadcasting this series, and yeah, like I said, Chris Wetz on third, and yeah, everybody else for having a relatively good race, and only having a couple yellows I think is pretty good. So yeah, I looking forward to coming back at some point in the season, doing it again.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have you. Thank you, Andre. Have a good one.
Thank you.
And keep going fast and having fun.
Sounds good.
Oh, we got other people we can talk to. Let's see. We'll make sure they get their due, especially since this is the grand entrance for the series. We'll see if we can get. I think is that Chris Wetz down there. Who do we got? Chris Wetz, maybe. It's Crash Neon. All right, we'll get Crash on up here. All right, Crash, we caught you. P2 tonight.
Yay.
How's it going? Talk about your race.
It was pretty well. These cars are pretty fun at Iowa, I will say, but I kind of felt a little embarrassed causing those massive wrecks. Honestly, I didn't want to do that, honestly. So, yeah, not fun for that part.
Yeah, we kind of saw it gets tight on the bottom, trying to get all the cars kind of crowded near the bottom there, and unfortunately that ends up being the case every so often. You kind of fell off after that because you inherited the lead on that yellow there following one of the crashes. And, you fell back a little bit, was maybe down in 5th or 6th at one point in time, kind of fought your way back up to the podium here towards the end. Do you feel like you figured something out on the long run, or was it just that you weren't quite as prepared once the field caught you to maintain your position near the front?
I think it was more on the lines of saving my tire so I'm not just spinning in front of the field the first 8 laps or so I'm not just like, because of the cold tires, And once the field caught up to me, I'm just like, it just got super tight trying to keep up, and yeah, we just got into Jason. I felt bad for that one as well, so that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess.
Yeah, an unfortunate end for a number of cars tonight in that kind of last corner, last lap crash. But you survived and made it to the finish line, and it's a P2 finish for you here tonight. And as always, podium finish. Shout out whoever you please, friends, family, sponsor. Floor is yours, my friend.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Brennan Hyperstar. He's a pretty good guy, I will say. Does a bunch of i5G league races every now and then. Want to go check him out? Check out the i5G channel and tell him I sent you.
Well, there we go. Have a good one, Crash. We'll hope to see you next week. Keep going fast and having fun.
Thank you, man.
Crash Neon P2 here tonight. And that is going to wrap our first Indy Next week of official broadcasting coverage. I believe we've got some other IR18 league action the rest of the week here with the Horizon IndyCar Series tomorrow night. I don't know where they are. I believe Formula Indy Series is also tomorrow night, live here on P1. They're at the Nürburgring GP circuit, which would be fun. See a number of rogue racing cars in that field. It'll be a good watch for sure. Gary Godso on the call for that. And we will be back here next week with Indy Next Monday night live from Long Beach for the Road Series Monday night at, oh goodness, I'm going to not remember my own time slots. I believe it's 9 p.m. 9 or 10. It's 10 p.m. Eastern time. There we go. And then we'll be back here Tuesday night with the Oval Series live from, I believe, Texas? Let me confirm the Texas. Charlotte. We're going to Charlotte next week. That'll be interesting. So we'll hope to catch you next week. Thanks, everybody, for tuning this one in. And we will catch you next time. And to all those who make all the difficult jobs happen in the world, we thank you. Have a good night.